Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's a pleasure to be here today. And our topic is virtual reality and the distribution of virtual reality. We will definitely try to dive deep into the topic, and we will like to discuss what are the trends in the virtual reality field, what is happening in the distribution industry, and also we would love you to join us. So if you have any questions, feel free to join us. Feel free just to raise a hand and ask the questions. We want to make it as interactive as possible. My name is Julia Šislerová, and I would love to welcome our speakers on the stage. It's Gabs. Gabs is the founder or co-founder of company Vrisch. And she's also founder of XR Vienna. Applause. Sara, she's from Italy, living in Paris, and she is from company Unframed Collection, which is a distribution company. And Ondřej Moravec, he is a filmmaker, so he will talk about his VR films and his experience in the field. So please, round of applause for all of us. And my first question is to you, because we want to know who is here with us and that we know who are we talking to. So what are your experiences with virtual reality? How many of you have ever tried virtual reality? Oh, cool. So all of you, I would say, maybe almost all of you. What was your experience? Is there anyone brave to share their story?
I was once I was riding with hot air balloon through some city. I think it was Tokyo or something like that.
So it was more gaming experience?
No, it was actually I was going through the city. It was experience of the city, something like that.
Okay, nice. Did you like it?
Yes, it was really fun. It was on some film festival, like presented for VR.
Nice, cool. Anyone else want to share his story? Yeah?
Yeah, last VR piece I saw was actually by Ondra here. I think it's called
Yay!
and it's about the destruction of victims in Ukraine. And personally, I'm not really a fan of VR. I think it's kind of sterile, and I don't usually get immersed in it. But I was so surprised how powerful that particular piece was, and I saw it in a gallery at a festival in La Rochelle in France. And it actually made me cry, and it's a very weird experience when you shed tears into the headset, and there is this very strange feeling of self-awareness. You're kind of crying in public, and at the same time, you're
Nobody
kind of
sees it.
hidden by the headset. But it was a really unique experience.
Thank you for sharing, but it means you were immersed this time.
Very exception, and I would like to say really thank you, Ondra, for providing this experience. It was really surprising how well that piece worked.
Thank you very much.
Great, we will get to it later. And maybe anyone else? The third brave person? No? Okay, no worries. So before we start, I would love to ask our panelists to introduce themselves, that you know what were their projects, what are they passionate about, and then we will jump into the discussion. So first, I would love to ask Gabs and to introduce herself. Here you go. And here is your... Yeah. And we would love to ask for the presentation. Yay.
Yay! Hi, everybody. It's so great to be here for the first time, actually. And my name is Gabs. Well, it's Gabriella Chihan Stanley, but it's so long, and people just call me that when I misbehave. So just call me Gabs, okay? So I'm all these things that you can read there. Like, I talk for ages, so I'm really holding myself back to kind of, you know, introduce myself. Because as you can see, I do many things. Like, I'm a VR director by chance, let's say, and I will tell you a bit about that a bit later, why I say by chance. But I am mostly an immersive storyteller. I come from digital arts, and I'm also a community builder. So in the past, I have worked with advertising agencies quite a lot, bringing these storytelling factors to brands. And then slowly but surely, I decided to follow my passion, which is telling stories for social impact in unusual ways. So right now, I have my own company together with my husband, actually, and business partner. We didn't kill each other yet for 10 years, so that's a good thing. And that is called Vrisch. And since we were quite young in 2015 in Vienna, we decided I decided to create the community as well to see who else was out there, what do they know, and how can we join forces to make projects together. And I'm currently as well an Austrian ambassador for women in immersive tech, and in the advisory board of South by Southwest, and what you see there. We can talk about it later. But so in a nutshell, what I do is I do AI-powered XR entertainment to learn, understand, and have fun. So I'm a bit, let's say, in between the worlds of business and arts, because my mission through my experience is merging hardware and stories, so creativity, human experience, and technology. To help people learn, understand, and have fun. So sometimes, since entertainment touches across industries, then I have worked with theme parks. I have worked with newspapers to create documentaries. For example, like I went to Lebanon, I went to Sunset Strip, and so on and so forth. So now we focus a lot on in projects that use smartphone and VR headsets for environmental projects. So we work a lot with UNESCO protected areas and also with Austrian institutions that want to bring the topic of environment on a more technological way to reach new audiences. So this is a project that I'm working on right now. That is the evolution of how, like, I'm trying to join filmmaking and your own story, like in virtual reality. So pretty much it's like an immersive journaling that gives you your story as a film or as a soundtrack. So more on that later as well. So these are a couple of wins that we had. We were very fortunate to have a couple of awards since the beginning of our existence. And yeah, with that, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn so you can read the whole story, it's there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to being here with us. Sara, what is your passion? Why did you decide to join VR industry? Tell us more about you, and I will ask again for your presentation. Thank you.
Okay, so, sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm Sara. I'm Italian, yes. And it's been 5 years I live in Paris. And I work for Unframed Collection. Unframed Collection is a virtual reality distribution platform. We are a branch of a production company, which is called Lucid Realities, which produces VR experiences mostly about fine arts, so painters, impressionism, or whatever. What we focus on is like distribution, so LBE, distribution, location-based entertainment. What we did when we started in 2018, simple setup with VR headsets. What we do right now, we go up to 60 headsets for each exhibition we do. We are not only distributor, we also have some services such as content management system. We offer training programs. We conceive a set design. we are also operators, so we are in charge of exhibition and operation in museums, from the management of the entire exhibition, so the coordination, human resources, scenography, and whatever. We developed some software, so the idea was the idea of the platform came up in 2020. So when all our exhibitions, VR exhibitions in museums were cancelled, we started thinking how to make it easier to distribute VR experiences in museums. So we developed some softwares, like an application for headsets where you can put different contents in the same app, or an application for tablets to control different headsets at the same time. So the idea is really to make it easier for museums to present VR experiences. So in addition of services and softwares, of course, we offer a premium catalog. We now have more than 100 VR experiences, mostly about fine arts, but also impact, history, sciences, architecture, music, or whatever kind of subjects. Our market targets, so I said museums, but actually we distribute our contents also to theaters, to art centers, educational centers, to malls, libraries, and all kind of venues, with cultural venues in general. So this is the last exhibition we did, and the one what great success for us, because we had 40,000 visitors in 4 months. We distributed VR content of 10 minutes about Van Gogh, and it was a huge success. This was the setup. We had 12 headsets, 12 stations, VR stations. And then we started traveling with this content. So we reached Asia, China, with the longer version, where we had 60 headsets. So it was a huge, greater setup. And then we started doing bundle of experiences bundle exhibition in France or in South Korea. And as I said, we don't target only museums, but also libraries. So we developed a special offer for libraries, which is a thematic program bundle, based on an annual flat fee. And this is an example of our current and upcoming exhibition. So we have some VR experiences in China, in France, in South Korea. We are going to open next week a VR experience in Art Modern Museum in Paris, and in Grand Palais also, French. And our partners, the venues where we distribute, and also the VR headset producers. And thank you for your attention. If you want to contact us, please. And great. Thank you.
Thank you. And presentation for Ondra, please.
Yeah, hi everybody. So I'll be the last one, and I will tell you a bit about what I am doing. I'm on a similar sites as the ladies here, but I'm also the XR maker, but I'm also a producer. I started a festival here in Czech Republic called Art VR, and so on. But I will probably speak mostly now about my XR works which I did, but then during the debate I will jump into the distribution things and the wider context as well. So I'm in the field from I don't know like 8-9 years now, and my first project which I did is it's not that well seen here, but let's start here. So it's Darkening, which you can actually see here in the French Institute as well, in the a VR zone here. And that's the project which is about dealing with depression, and it's my personal story. It's an interactive project which is controlled by your voice. And if we can play a trailer. If we can.
I thought that I hit the bottom and it wouldn't come back. But no. The same feeling keeps coming back, that I'm not good enough a person to have a right to live. I call the depressive state darkening. It's like you're in a village where your traumas are hiding in the houses and keep revealing themselves to you. Just look at your hands. Use your voice.
Go, go!
Then it's time to fix it. Let's try it together.
Okay, so Darkening. Darkening was my first project, and it was very personal, as I'm also the protagonist of it. So I say that from that time, I probably will not make anything which will be, which I will be so much attached to. And it's also the project which was, I would say, the most successful so far in all the distribution, and got the biggest cover on festivals and galleries. Wherever. We had a very special school programs for this project, so we were traveling for 2 years around the schools and having debates. Our partner was the National Institute of Mental Health here, who helped us to shape all the impact program for that. And yeah, for this project, what was very important to me was to use the medium of virtual reality somehow, let's say, in an interesting and smart way. That's why I focused on the voice interactivity, because that's what in a classic film or in also other types of immersive media, it's not that common and not that much used. So that was the core. We can jump to the next project, which I started to do right after when the war in Ukraine started in 2022, and I choose a little bit different format of the virtual reality. Darkening was like 3D real-time animation, but First Memories the look was 360 video, and the main point of this was to create some kind of connection between people who suffered from loss of their homes or the places where they live with the actual users. We can see the short trailer here as well. Or not. Yeah, and in this like project again, I try to somehow focus on what I feel that is the most powerful in 360 films, and I found out that that's it can be many things, of course, but very important for me is the like a connection with a person just through the looking into their eyes. They can't speak, they can't look at you and speaking, for example. That's what I found out, that it's cracking the illusion a lot for me. So I decided that I just want to have like a silent looks on you, which can tell a lot of things. It was inspired by Marina Abramovic and her art project in the galleries, where she was inviting people who were about to look into her eyes for 1 minute when she was sitting there. And it was very, very powerful, and I wanted to somehow find out how this would work in the medium of virtual reality, and also in the context of war in Ukraine. I think that this was also very successful in terms of the distribution, because the 360 films are those which are the easiest ones to distribute in the virtual reality format. So it appeared on many festivals. It was also on demand at Meta TV, where it was seen by, I don't know what's the number now, but like 15,000 people, which is quite nice. And yeah, so on. So it was kind of and we created this, like, there was only 3 days of shooting on the place, then some time, of course, for the post-production, but it was quite quickly made. We didn't need that much money comparing with darkening, which was super expensive, like for that. So that was kind of on the opposite side. The next project, which is also from Ukraine, that's the fresh one. It's Fragile Home, and here it's again a bit different format. It's a mixed reality experience, so which means that it's combining your physical flat with some digital room of one family in Ukraine, and these two spaces, the real one and the virtual one, are merged together in the headset. And we can see the trailer, and from that it will be maybe more understandable. So this project was premiered last year in Venice at the Venice Film Festival in the immersive section. And what's a bit challenging here is that to show it, you need a physical room, basically, which for many places can be a bit a problem. You need to have like a real sofa, real table, some small storage and other things. And then this real environment and the helmet are changing here. It's a kind of a poetic, it's a poem, basically. It's like about 4 songs which are going through the narrative, and in each song the flat is changing into different periods of time in Ukraine, which of course it's going to the phase when the war started. So it creates a little bit different connection with the user than the project before, Fresh Memories, because Fresh Memories are about a very strong human connection. Here it's about your connection to the space where you live, or where people in Ukraine are living as well. This project is now displayed in the gallery in Brno, where it will stay till May. It's Umělecko-průmyslové museum in Brno. And the last project which I wanted to introduce you, it's 6 Degrees, which we created last year together with one dancing company in Belgium and one dancing company in Czech Republic. And it's it's a dancing experience actually, which contains some virtual reality and mixed reality elements, and it's about the fact that our planet is dying. And the title 6 degrees, it's about the fact that when the planet in average is heated for 6 degrees, so it's over. And we are unfortunately going there. So, and this is very like a physical experience, which includes virtual reality and mixed reality, and we can see the last trailer for this. Yeah, so this performance, it has in total like a 1 hour, and you have there 4 stations or 5 stations, and in each of them you can see the human in different state. Let's say it starts at the beginning when the person is able to breathe, to move, it's kind of very smooth, and slowly it's transferring themselves on the next stations, the human being, into something in between the real and virtual world, and the very end is fully virtual. We are still having these shows, even though that it's quite challenging to show them because it's pretty complex, but we will show it this year in Prague and maybe also abroad. Let's see. We can discuss how it's possible to do the distribution of live mixed reality shows international. That would be quite interesting. So that's just for me, and I think that it can be also like the selection of all the works can be somehow interesting in point of view, like what the medium can offer us, because I think that in all the works, like most of the main aspects were represented in a way, so then it can help us in our further discussion. So that was me. Thank you.
Hey, hey. Thank you for that, Ondřej. It will be really helpful for the further discussion that you can have the idea what are the possibilities of virtual reality these days. And I'm not sure if there is also my presentation. It is. It is not. It is not the one. But never mind, I will start and we'll see. I just want you to give you an idea where I'm coming from as well. My name is Julia Šislerova, and I'm from a kind of different field of the virtual reality. I'm more business focused, and I'm standing more on the marketing side of the thing. I jumped into the virtual reality in 2016 when I co-founded one of the first virtual reality play park in the Czech Republic. So I started with gaming, and it gave me a lot of experience of what is possible with virtual reality, how are creators using virtual reality. But also it was connected with the hardware these days. And it was like HTC Vive with all the cables and all the hardware. You needed proper computer, gaming computer, so it was quite expensive to have or to try such an experience on your own at your home. But we moved to these days where we can experience virtual reality or even mixed reality with hardware. As you can see here, I'm holding Apple Vision Pro, which is I guess the most expensive virtual reality headset these days. The first mixed reality headset from Apple. So I'm
Still not possible to buy in Czech Republic.
Yeah, of course. And my career started in technological field, but I'm more marketing person. So I'm standing between those worlds, and I'm like bridging developers and marketing or business people and trying to translate them how is possible to use virtual reality in their businesses. And that's what I'm doing right now. And these days I'm right now I'm working in Deloitte, so that's why I'm saying business. And but we met, for example, with Ondřej in creative studio Brainz Immersive, and I produced a variety of AR, VR experiences, and also some of the films you saw from Ondřej here. So it's quite special for me to be here today because Ondřej is my colleague and Gabs is also my friend from Women in Immersive Tech community, because I'm also involved in bringing more women into the space. And 2 years ago, I decided to start a Czech women community, which is called Holky v Metaverse. And I forgot I have the presentation, sorry. So here are just some pictures what I do. Like, as I said, we have the Women in Immersive Holky v Metaverse community, but I'm also trying to talk about these technologies to people, to show them what are the possibilities, to translate to public what are these technologies for, and that people just don't think about the hardware or the technology itself. We should look at the virtual reality as a new medium. It's like TV, mobile phone, but it's a move to 3D space. So I'm trying to be a translator, I would say. And I also speak at a lot of conferences, and bringing women to all the conferences and trying to help them to be heard. And when speaking about Holky v Metaverse, that's my current project. I would love to talk a little bit. We do have like more than 300 active members. And what we do meetups. And my goal is to show women what are these technologies about, and not just to talk about it, but try it. I think that the hands-on experience is the core. So we are going to, for example, Art VR Festival here in Czech Republic, to try the films, to try the experiences. We are also going to companies who are using virtual reality, or we are also focusing on blockchain technology. Also, we are talking about AI, and we are creating our own AI avatars, for example. And that's it. We do workshops. For example, here you can see we were in a 360 studio with a green background, or we tried Apple Vision Pro together, or we did our own Unity augmented reality app. I'm also trying to bring more women on the stages, because my experience is that on the business conferences there are no women at all talking or visiting, but not talking. So it's about being heard. I know there are women in the space, but people don't know about them. So I'm we are giving a chance to another women to talk about what they are doing in the field. Also talking in podcasts or being mentioned in media. So you can see, for example, Wired, the Czech magazine Wired, where we were speaking about our experiences with Apple Vision Pro, for example. And we are also using the high tech when talking at the conferences. So, for example, I did the Apple Vision Pro conference keynote, or we use our own augmented reality fashion mirror. So you can see, you can wear your own coat, or you can stand on the virtual red carpet, for example. That's something we did for Karlovy Vary Festival. And so just show people that women are in the space as well, and they are active, and also to inspire another women to join the community and join the field. That it's not about coding, it's about being creative, and it's a lot of fun. So thank you. That's my part. And just to give you an idea, who are we, and why do we see virtual reality as we do. But to start, I would love to maybe start with a little bit like a technology and your experience, because I love that Ondřej gave us the idea about how is virtual reality used these days. You see virtual reality as 3D, which was darkening, virtual reality as 360 format, which was
Fresh memories,
and fragile home, which is mixed reality when you combine or blend the virtual and physical space. And the last one, which was really artsy, but it's combined with dancing and so on. So maybe I will start with Gabs or Ondřej. What is your favorite virtual reality experience, and where do you see the trends? What do you think is happening? Where are we heading? What do you know from the past? And what is your favorite? I don't want to say hardware, but I know you know what I mean. Like if it's virtual reality as 3D or 360 film or mixed reality. Where do you see the future? Where are we heading?
Can I start, or
Yeah, sure.
like if I have a mic, so then I will pass it to you. Yeah, I think that like there are some trends in the XR world, like which are still like enhancing, but it's hard to say like if they will continue, for example. So let's say that now the biggest hype is about mixed reality. So every studio is working somehow in a mixed reality field, you know, so trying to blend your environment and the digital environment. But for example, Meta, which is the for us, let's say, very important company, because they are producing the headsets which are used in the most way, and also they are, you know, trying to somehow build the business infrastructure there in very from very strong position. Doesn't always mean that it's a good position, but like they are important players on the field. And so, for example, in their experience, they are pushing the authors, for example, game creators, which are working in XR to create a mixed reality environments, projects, because they are supposed to be played in your living room, you know, to have a more connection with your space, because they started to find out that not necessarily for all the people it's convenient to be fully immersed just in the classic virtual reality immersive world, but to still have some connection with your world as well. And they are doing it from like a very let's say, materialistic reasons as well, because they are, of course, focusing on games, but they also try to put you into the headset for more of your things which you are doing. So their idea is that in the next few years you will use the headset to work, to work, for example, to use it as your personal computer, as your mobile, and so on. That was the important step which also Apple Vision Pro stepped in, and that was their idea as well, that they create a headset which will not be that much for gaming, but actually that it will be for you as your personal device, which you will use. I think that they did not succeed so far with that, but definitely it was their input, and I believe that everybody, like in this industry, from this important stakeholders will go this way. And the mixed reality format is the most convenient one because it immerses you only partially, let's say, and it can be useful. But for me, it's also like interesting in like an artistic point of view. So I would say that mixed reality is definitely very interesting. In terms of the trends, I also think that there is everybody is speaking a lot about the eye tracking thing as a new utility, which will be somehow important for the next generations of headset. Apple Vision Pro is having this technology, which is nice, but it's not that useful for everything. For example, if you are having a festival and you want to show something to somebody, you need to do the setup of your eyes for every next visitor, you know. So it takes some time, and it's a little bit clumsy in this way. So it's very nice for your personal use, but for the like a more mass presentation, it's not the best. But it's said that Meta is following this, and the next headset, which will be here probably in the autumn of this year, will build the main updates on the eye tracking, because with that you can play a lot of games, like games and also like real games as well. So that's what I feel that in terms of technology is now like on the top, like the mixed reality and the eye tracking technology.
Thank you. Maybe we can just again ask you, have you ever tried any mixed reality experience? Do you know what are we talking about? No, that's good. We had the movie, the trailer. Does anyone of you, or have you ever tried Apple Vision Pro? Because we know it's not so common here in the Czech Republic because we are not able to buy it here. You have to travel to US and buy it in the US. But there are companies who own it, and I think it's very important to get the idea about the mixed reality, because I believe that the future is about we are not closing into our inner world in virtual reality. Sometimes it's fine, but sometimes you don't want to be, for example, at the exhibitions or so, you don't want to be alone, and you want to see what is happening around you. And that's exactly what mixed reality is offering, that you can still see the world around you, but you can interact with digital objects around you. And that's some kind of what should the buzzword metaverse be about. And we'll see, but I guess that in 5-10 years, these headsets will be slim and we will be able to use it daily. So that's when Ondřej said, okay, Apple was not successful. I guess they were not aiming for being successful and to have Apple Vision Pro as a daily computer, but they are heading there. They also admitted that the headset is more for developers to get the new headset in the field and to inspire and support builders to like the creators to build the experiences in such a way? Gabs, what you think?
Well, I want. Is it on? Because I naturally speak loud, so I'm not sure. I want to. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I want to build a bit from what Ondra said. Because I think there's what I can see is that there are trends are pretty much depending on the manufacturer, right? The headset manufacturers, and there's also trends that are depending on the availability of the headsets, as you mentioned, for example, about mixed reality and the Vision Pro, right? And but to be honest, the biggest trend that I'm seeing, like I've always been a bit of an activist of the technology and a bit of part of the resistance, let's say, of not focusing so much on the hardware aspect of the technology, because right now this is, as I said, I'm a bit of an activist, no? We are too much dictated by the commercial interests of these manufacturers. So it's kind of difficult as a creator to see that our work is shifting and depending on what the technology is kind of pushing at that particular moment, right? I can give an example. For example, now, of course, everything is mixed reality. Meta is asking for developers to develop mixed reality experience because this is where the support is coming from, right? Back then, 3 years ago, it was multiplayer experiences. You had to have the multiplayer experiences because this is the way that you got the headset manufacturers to kind of support your work. So it was always a bit of sacrifice of the stories that you wanted to tell, because you also had to think of the interests of the manufacturers of these headsets, because you cannot live without their support, right? So it's like a bittersweet story, right? And in my case, for example, I had the experience of I developed a Sherlock Holmes experience in VR. There was an immersive theater experience. And I had a very limited budget, right? So I contacted Meta and I said, okay, Mr. Meta, what should I do, right? I mean, what should I focus on? Because my budget is this. It's like, no, you focus on multiplayer because this is what we're going to push. Yeah, perfect. So no physics in the game. So I put, multiplayer. 6 months later, when the game was about to be released, no, now it's all about mixed reality, So this is why I'm kind of always trying to push the conversation. Like, yeah, it's super important to know what headsets are out there, because in the end, these are our tools of the trade. It depends pretty much on the stories that we want to tell. There is going to be, as you said, like there's TV, right? And whatever we consume on the TV, I mean, sometimes we have, a projector, sometimes we have a flat screen TV, sometimes we have a virtual reality headset, right? So I think we need to see the trends in the stories that we want to tell and why we use this medium. And this is a trend that I'm seeing now, especially when it comes to creators, that we are kind of like forgetting what the headset manufacturer wants from us. And we're like, okay, I want to tell stories about mental health, right? Because XR is all about human experience. So I will take this opportunity to get this immersiveness of XR as a whole, technology, headset agnostic, and I'm going to tell my story. Maybe it's not going to be as shiny as the manufacturer is asking me for, but these are the stories that touch human experience, right? And talking about being the translator, the link, right, between virtual reality and the audiences out there, right? Especially if we want to be the translator, especially if we want to be the link, we kind of have to dare to go and pick up our audiences where they're from, right? From where they're at. Right? And say, okay, you know what? I speak mental health with you. I don't speak technology with you. I don't speak resolution with you. I don't speak about levels of realism. I'm speaking the language of storytelling and about human experience. And I think the more experiences I see, like in the last 3 years, I've seen so many experiences that are like, screw it, I mean, let's really talk about the topics that we always wanted to talk about. And let's use the privacy of VR to tell a very sensitive story, and let's give the environment a chance to kind of protect the user from being exposed. Let's use mixed reality to merge the environment with the experience to show that there's not only the digital world or the physical world, but we live in in-betweens, right? So anyway, too much of an activist, but you see where I'm getting at.
Yeah. Maybe on Ondřej, I have a question which is connected with this. How is it? What is first when you decide how to create a experience? Is it that you are thinking about, I want to tell this story, which tool I will use or which hardware I will use, or it's the opposite?
Well, it depends. Sometimes it's, but like mostly, of course, there's first is the idea. I totally agree with you that the idea should be on the first place, no matter what, you know, and the intention you wanted to say. And then you're trying to focus, okay, can I use something what the manufacturer is already offering, or is it not enough for me? So then I need to go for my own like visions, also in the hardware way, you know. So, and there are artists who are doing that actually, who are still inventing their own gadgets, you know, which are somehow like like making the experience different, let's say, more immersive, sometimes less immersive because it's not that successful, but whatever, that's the beauty of that, like that you can still do this. You don't need to take or to accept the a little kind of rising dictatorship from them. So that's what, at least me personally, I'm trying to think about. Of course, if you want to have a, like, for example, like a topic as a mental health, which our main goal was to create something what's pretty strong, but also that we can really get it to the people. So then you need to stick with some kind of standards in the industry, so you are able to distribute it. You know, so you know that it will get to people, actually, to as many festivals, to the galleries, or to the online space, and so on. So I'm trying to be like a 50-50, like half like just the visions and half somehow pragmatic. So and if these two sides of me are synchronized, then I believe it's the best. Sometimes the one is more, sometimes the second is less, and it depends on each project.
A very small thing that I wanted to add, no, that this is the importance of distribution in this case, because otherwise, if we don't find ways to distribute our experiences outside, let's say, the monopoly of the headset manufacturers, like we will never see these beautiful experiences out there, like being, you know, like communicated with the world. And this is not something very easy to make, because as you said, Ondra, like it's this alchemy of, okay, how much am I willing to sacrifice, right? And how much do I have to play the game? Because we also, I dare to say, we cannot go rogue and say, no, I do my own thing, and that's
well,
it.
You can.
I mean, you can, but I mean, the curve is like like a rocket, no? Like up. Of course, you can, right? But this is why I'm very interested, for example, in what Unframed is doing when it comes to distribution, because this is sometimes what makes the difference in an experience getting to its audience or not.
I can get just one nice, very fresh experience, like, because I came back from the United States from a festival, South by Southwest, which is the leading American festival focusing also on XR. They're focusing on classic filmmaking, music, whatever. It's a big festival. But one of the winning projects, which with the name of it, it's in Current of Being. It's about this. Oh, now I've lost the word. But it's about this therapy for the gay people that they will like make a straight person from you. And that was done, it's still done, by the way, like by the electric current, which is sent into you while you are watching some pictures and so on. Conversion therapy, that's the word. And Cameron Costopoulos, the creator, he decided that he will create a thing with a, like a, let's say, classic headset, and then he will adjust it with the multiple sensory devices on your body, which will simulate the electric current, actually, which is, when you say it like that, it's pretty crazy, but it was very functional, because it was not harmful, of course, but it was the amount of the level of uncomfort of the discomfort was pretty there, and it's a great experience. I really loved it, but I really believe that it will be quite difficult to distribute such a piece because it has a lot of tags around that which are adjusted with it, and only some places can will be able to afford that. And that's my question now for Sara, which I'm going there. What are you doing with such experiences which are that complex? Because, and how do you look at the projects when you are picking them for your distribution?
Yeah, and I would just add, because you didn't mention it during your presentation, what kind of headsets are you using? Because it's connected with the experiences you are showing in the installations.
Yeah. So I don't know if I mentioned it, but we mostly do B2B distribution. So we distribute our VR contents to venues, then later distribute them to visitors. So the idea, as I said, is like to make it easier to distribute VR contents in museums, libraries, and to reach like even the smallest village. I don't know, not the biggest museum, not only the biggest museum, at least. So that's why, like for example, we will never use the Apple Vision Pro because the idea is like to make it easier, and when we say it's $3,000, the museum said no, thank you. So we are trying to find like an in between, like for like high quality and affordable technologies, and also like it's not easy because we are really in between creators and venues. So we need to understand like creators and producers, and also there are some really beautiful VR contents that require some tech specs like that are maybe a bit more complicated to distribute, but also we need to be there when the venue asks us, which has maybe a low budget, or they ask us like an affordable headset, or they have not so many space, or they don't have so many facilitators that can like help visitors to put headsets on. So we are really in between. That's why like as you said, in like 2018 we had these PCVR experiences about art, contemporary art, which is actually still distributed, but a bit more like not as we did before, because now we have standalone headsets. So that's like talking about technology. We now prefer standalone headsets because it's the perfect like easier for like the venues to get, and also high quality, and also like we have a bit like both, so the producers and the distributors' views. So we now produce as we think like it is the best user experience. So for example, as we were talking about before, we noticed that using controllers was too difficult for visitors. It took time also to like facilitators to explain which button they had to push. So we started producing untracking experiences because of the headsets that allows like they have cameras integrated, so that the cameras of the headset can see the ends, and so visitor can interact easily, and it's more natural, and the facilitators don't have to be there explaining what the visitor has to do. So it's a bit like we try to adapt. We say it's bricolage because like as we do an operation, we notice what should be done and correct for the next production, and that's what we do, according also to the new technologies that we can use. So
I just wanted to ask your experience about this. Like distribution also comes in stages, right, of knowledge of your audience, right? Because when when the revival of VR started in 2015, for example, right? I mean, it was kind of like equal ground for all. I dare to say that we were all, I guess, equally scared and equally curious and equally, but then we kind of branched out, right? I mean, like there are people who experience a lot of VR, and their expectations are completely different than the people who are just starting to consume VR. So how can you distribute an experience that can vary so much in the audience, right? So you have to start from somewhere, right? And so I totally agree that saying, like, putting hard rules sometimes is the way to avoid our audiences to be disappointed in the technology altogether. Because you give controllers to someone that have never touched controllers before. You have a bad facilitation, and then this person is going to say, I tried VR, it sucked, like I will never try it again. It was too complicated, it was too gamified, whatever. But like, this person will never know that there wasn't any proper facilitation, there wasn't proper onboarding, no one sent the person to the experience or received them back from the experience. And these are things that distribution, it also means distribution, right? And so I understand that sometimes like hard rules are necessary in order to kind of bring more elaborate experiences distributed.
Yeah. And we have the example, for example, the Orsay Museum operation. So we co-produced this experience with the museum. So we had the scientific advisor of the museum, and the museum was the first venue where we put the experience. It was 10-minute experience with dump tracking, with really smooth interactions, because we know the public of the museum, and the museum itself told us about its public. So the idea of this experience wasn't like to make young, like give the possibility to young people to go to the museum, but more like to make it make VR accessible to the normal public of the VR of the Orsay Museum, which is mostly like families and elderly people. And that's what we had, because like we did a study, more than 150% of the people who tested VR were more than 60 years old. So, and all of them loved the experience. And there was, I think, no one who told us it's too complicated, I was sick, I was dizzy. No one told us, because like we developed it thinking about the public, that specific public. And also like it was really all audiences, because of course there are young people going to the museum, yet there are children, there are families and whatever. And so that's what the perfect example, because people who never tested VR were happy about the museum having VR in their rooms. The museum were happy because they put something new, they offer something new to their visitors. So it's everyone is happy, we're happy, and that's our job, like to make everyone happy, basically.
Like, go. 2 lines, I promise you. No, I just wanted to give some unsolicited advice. I don't know any of you, I don't know what you do, but in case you're a distributor, you know, keep an open mind when it comes to the experiences, you know? I mean, like, this is something, as you can see, they vary so much, you know? So keep an open mind. And creators, be kind to one another. Not because you're using one thing that looks low-tech compared to everything else that is out there in the world right now, doesn't mean that the experience is not up to your standards. Everything has a purpose, everything has a reason, and everything has its audience as well. So try not to standardize things too much. And that's my contribution as an actor.
I agree actually, because there's a lot of, or not a lot, that's the thing. There's some people who can come to you and who can say, oh, you know, but that's kind of old already in XR, so why should I be interested, or I've seen that, you know, whatever. But this is like a promile of the overall like public which will see some of your projects. And of course these people will be there for sure, and we are eager to somehow still discover something new. I think that the people in this field are a lot of like that, but I totally agree that sometimes it's good to stick what's already there in the in all the XR universe. For example, in my case, it was creating the Fresh Memories, the look, which is the easiest thing. Like that you are having just 360 camera. It's somehow it's the best in terms of the budget as well, because it's the cheapest. And I was trying to focus. Okay, and that was for me. When you asked like what was at the beginning, so in this case, it was okay. You are going to create something, and it must be 360 video. And I was like, okay, so let's look at the fact what I can create, how I can somehow create something what will be interesting for me. And I was like, at the beginning, 360 video, they are all blah, blah, blah. So I had all these feelings. But then I kind of found out something, and I was pretty satisfied with it. And my mission was accomplished. So that's good. And I'm happy from that, because that's the piece which can travel a lot, as I mentioned. It's good for, it's classic. And it's for somebody also, for example, when we were, one of our next topics here is like where we are getting money for creating the XR experiences. So there are a lot of film funds, because on the art scene, the XR industry is the most intensively connected with the film industry. That's why also this debate is happening during the KineDok platform, which is focusing on the classic cinematography. Because it started like that. It was, I don't know, maybe it was coincidence. When it was started with a connection with a theater or something else, it would look different, the landscape. But it's strongly connected with the film. And all the film funds, for example, the people who are in the funds and who are deciding about if they give you the money or not, they are not experts for the XR. So to somehow catch them, it's important not to be too tech oriented, like in the new things, because just to explain what's the interesting and new thing of a 360 video can be challenging. I don't want to say that they are dumb or something like that, not at all, but they are not focused or dived into that much, and their mindset of thinking and deciding can be a bit different. That's at least how it is in Czech Republic, or how was it till now. Now in the Czech Republic, we will have a new audiovisual fund, which will have a more people focused on the specific areas. There will be more expertise in some particular branches. It will be better. And we have it like that in France, for sure. We have it like that in Germany, for example. But in a lot of countries, the main public money are coming from the film or audiovisual funds, which are pretty old school in some way. And that's why it's important to... for them, I remember with Darkening, because Darkening was the first ever Czech virtual reality project supported by the Czech Film Fund. And we were like, wow, that's amazing. It happened. They really supported something like that.
And you were also nominated for
Czech Lion, which
as
was again like what's that? The Academy decided, I don't know, nobody from the Academy or 10% saw it in the headset, and the rest of them saw just the recording on the flat screen, whatever. But that's but it happened somehow, yeah. And but the thing is that and now, as I said, the state fund is transforming, which is great thing, and so on. But that's why I think that it's good to stay a little bit grounded with the ideas and what it can come. As you can see, also, then you will come to the sales agent or distributor, and you will say, "Oh, I have this. That's great. It's like octopus, which will eat you, whatever." And they're like, okay, but what will I do with that, Because I have to come to Musée d'Orsay, which is super conservative, as I can imagine. And, they will not give you what you need to, truly transfer it, So, and as, virtual reality or XR projects, the galleries for them are really good places. But the paradox is that the galleries themselves are, even when they are focused on modern art, I think they can be pretty old school as well in some things. And maybe you can tell us a bit more about that. But that's at least my experience.
Maybe I would just want to ask Ondřej, you two that can answer it. Like, what is your experience with distribution of Fragile Home, which is mixed reality experience, and you get the idea. You need to have the room, some specific room to be set up to that the experience works. You can tell more. And I would love to know, Sara, what if Ondřej came to you and asked you, I would love you to show my project at that gallery, what would you do?
So I'll start with the fact that with this project, we even didn't try to get the distributor or sales agent, because we are like, oh, come on, that's lost. You know, they will never take us. It's too complicated for them. You know, it must have been something super special. We would have to win Venice or whatever. And so we decided, okay, we will do the distribution on our own in this way, which still a lot of XR makers are doing anyway. You know, because there is like, in the world, like 3 or 4 distribution or sales companies which are doing that, and Sara is one of them actually. So there is not such a big competition actually, and not that many things which you can choose from. But we decided that we need to do it on our own. So our production manager and me, that we are trying to find the places. We are asking some galleries. We have a good already. Like the connection with the darkening, because we did the distribution also through the galleries in Czech Republic. So we have a good contacts, and we are trying now to like persuade them again, okay, there is a new project, a little bit different technology, different format, so we want to be there. And then with their help, we are somehow setting it up. I think that the most challenging in this is the manpower. Because when you are on the site and you have an exhibition for three months, for example, you need to have people who will serve the audience, who will be there and say, "Oh, have you ever tried virtual reality? So do you know how it works?" They also need to take care if the functionality of the project is well set, especially for the mixed reality is super important, because the setting is more complicated than in traditional virtual reality. You need to really find out if all the virtual stuffs are well attached to the real stuff. So it's challenging because there needs to be the tech people every day during the exhibition. So, and that's a quite big burden on the gallery because they need to have these persons. We are not able to say, okay, so we will pay for 3 months somebody from our team who will be there every day. That's impossible, absolutely. So that's challenging, and somehow it's happening now. We had an exhibition for 3 months in Prague. It was a bit overkill because it was difficult in Doc's gallery. Now we are in Brno, so I'm far away, so I can't see all the troubles which can be there, but I believe they are. And then there's a question if the people from the gallery are saying it to us or not, you know, which they don't want to, of course, because they don't want to bother you, but yeah. So it's challenging with this. So for the mixed reality experiences, I think that they need to be. Our experience is not done in a way that it can be super easy. But now we are working on some updates where it could be, and that was our focus from the beginning, that the people can play it at their homes with their furniture, and if they own the virtual reality headset, so they can experience it in their environment, where it's also emotionally the strongest, because it's about transforming your real flat into the things which are happening in Ukraine. So yeah, we are on it. And yeah, Sara can contribute.
Yeah, so I think it's a whole different kind of prospection already. So like, for example, our target markets, which are the small village libraries, maybe they really can't afford like the transportation of all the furniture, but also like they don't have the physical space to like to do that. But we did that like when we produced 2 contemporary art experiences that were multi-user, till 10 users at the same time, with these cables and PC and everything. So we did that, but there's not the same venue such as the easiest standalone headset experiences. So it requires like someone, maybe a specific person, like that needs to check where, like for venues, for galleries that have this space, that have this budget to do that. So it's possible, but it's completely like different from what we do right now. Then like everything is possible because we produced until today some just like standalone headsets experiences, but mostly like seated experiences. So single user and like a stationary mode experience, so where you don't have to walk. But like, for example, right now we are producing some room scale walking experiences with up to 25 users at the same time. So things are changing, and also like production is changing, and also distribution has to like adapt to production and to trends, as we were saying before. So yes, why not?
And Gabs, what is your experience? Because I know that one of your project was something with lights, if I remember it right, and it was not only a 3D experience, but it was 4D or 5D, because there was some wind and whatever. You will explain it more. So what was your experience? How did you move with the experience around? I don't know if it was galleries, or what was the purpose?
Actually, this was a purely like commercial project, actually. So it was quite interesting how this client was approaching us for this project, because it's Europe's biggest lighting house that was going to be built together with 6 experiences. So they were asking for companies to pitch for these projects and blah, no? So at the beginning they wanted the classic customer journey experience, that you go there and you see the about us, whatever, like in a like museum style, that you go there and it's pretty much like praising themselves in 6 different ways, and like the classic way of presenting the company, right? So what we wanted to present is their why, and this was a main driver for their decision on working with us, and especially the one that you are mentioning, that is a multisensory cinema. Like we actually built a cocoon, because the main concern was, okay, this is going to be in a public space, and whatever you put inside the headset is like, you have to explain me later, but how are you going to address this? How are you going to address the fact that a person is going to be exposed in a shop to a virtual reality experience? So this is when we started thinking outside the headset, to say like, okay, how can we make it comfortable without like killing our budget, And this is how like we designed a cocoon, that it acted like pretty much like an egg, I mean, like it was a cute egg made of wood. Because we also thought, okay, wood is a material that we feel closer to wood than we feel of, I don't know, like synthetic materials. And we put pillows inside, and also the experience itself had senses that were triggered for you to kind of feel comfortable there as well. So that had a big part as well. For example, you saw fire in the experience, for example. So you felt the fire in your skin. If you felt like wind, for example, like the wind was coordinated with 1 million sensors that we built. So everything that you saw in the experience was kind of like feeling it in your own skin as well. So our client was telling us, it was like, I mean, the story was really their why, Like instead of an about us, we said, okay, what is really your why as a company? Okay, you are talking about the evolution of light and how we interact with one another and how we created a language of light, right? And this message in itself is quite empowering, right? I mean, we used light to communicate with each other, to build relationships, to build design. So tell that story, right? So we created a short film around that, using every single sense that we could use in a cocoon, and this is what got us the Laval award for it. Yeah, so yeah, I hope I answered your question, because I go around the bush a lot. Okay.
I want to add that when I ask Ondřej if it's first you decide what to tell and which hardware to use, I believe that you as a creator, you have a freedom to decide what to do. But business-wise, it's my experience is similar to yours, that it's usually like when the client comes and he wants to use this kind of new technology, you have to first think about how will you tell the story and how will be the story consumed. So it means you have to think about the headset, but the place, and will be the user able to put the headset on his own, or do we need any facilitator? And all these factors, and there are more of them, are changing the way how will the experience look like and how it will work. And also I feel the same, we have the same experience, that the physical installation is very important, because you can't just put the headset on the chair and leave it somewhere, because no one will use it. So our experience is that you need to build some physical installation around it, that people will know, okay, there is something, I would love to explore it, and maybe then, okay, I will be able to put the headset on my own and play the experience on my own, but I have to feel that I am changing the environment, that I am already step into another world in the physical room, and then putting the headset on, and I am in that environment.
I wanted to add something to what you were saying. I mean, everything kind of comes to the why, right? I mean, it's why this medium and why the distribution that we choose, right? Like when it comes to like marketing projects, for example, you know, like using artistic experiences for marketing projects, right? I mean, there the distribution is the marketing itself, right? Like if we think of the reach that our experiences can have, no? If we think of how we are empowering future audiences for experiences that are going to nurture their soul later on, you know? Like this is also kind of like a strategic distribution, so to say, for an immersive experience. And this is why sometimes I guess we all agree that the lines are kind of blurred sometimes. What is an artistic experience? What is a marketing experience? And what is the purpose of all of them within the industry itself? No? So it's not like one gets more benefit than the rest, or one is more important than the other, but it's more this constant symbiosis, no? That all comes with the why we want to bring people to XR, right? And why we choose this distribution method. No? I just wanted to add that.
I think that's a good point. And I think that in this term we can see some revivals, you know, of some older technologies coming back, or not back, but, you know, which are starting to be again popular, like for example, planetariums, where you have like a big like a dome, you know, and you have and that's something what's quite close to virtual reality as well. But in the past, it was mostly connected with the fact that you are just watching the stars, you know, the space, you know, and these like domes, you know, these planetarium domes were created specifically mostly for these purposes. But there is quite a lot of creators who are already creating projects for this space, which is kind of convenient on one space, because, you know, you have a hall for depends on how big the planetarium is, but it can be like for 100 or 300 persons, you know, or for 50 persons when it's smaller. Everybody sees at once, nobody's putting anything on the face. That's a problem with like the XR. Like, people don't like to put something on your face, you know. You really need to it's fragile, you know. It's because of your skin, whatever. It's
makeup.
makeup. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of things which why it's not. I also don't like it, to be honest. Like that, it's even though that I'm a creator myself, but you know, I'm really looking forward when the technology will be so advanced that I don't have to something physical put on my face. Also because it's like separating you from the others. You know, you don't see each other, you don't see your body, for example. That's you're a bit losing yourself in that, and that's what a lot of people are not comfortable with. You know, and so that's why we are trying to. That's why mixed reality. That's why other formats are stepping in because you know that's putting you more into your own skin. Because I think that people realized after like the decade of when the medium is running that being fully immersed into something new and to lose the sense of time, it can be interesting, but that a lot of people at the end of the day don't enjoy it that much. So because they want to stay themselves. And I think that that's kind of an important aspect which we need to think about.
No, go. I just wanted to add something to that. That's why, like, we are thinking on like how to, for example, VR up to 15 minutes, no more, because that's right. You lose contact with yourself. Even if you interact with your hands, you only see your hands, but not your body. It can be like weird, I'd say. That's why like we really do VR contents up to like 15 minutes, 10 to 15. And also, I forgot what I wanted to say. You were
Happens to
saying
me
what?
all the time. I'm happy I'm not the only one, you know. It's like,
Go and then I remember maybe when.
okay.
Yeah, go.
No, what I wanted to say is like I think correct me if I'm wrong, no, but I think we also have to make we have to distinguish XR in public spaces and XR in our living room, right? Because I don't know, for me, like I'm a person with ADHD, for example, you know. So if I have to be in a public space with mixed reality, I won't understand what I'm watching. I would be distracted every 3 seconds, you know, and also the level of anxiety is going to be like over the top, right? So if I'm in my living room, it's a completely different story, right? So this is also something that I think it has to do with how we distribute our experiences. That it's like, okay, how are they going to be consumed? And how to make the best experience for our audience in the place that they are going to consume it, right?
And may I ask you if you have ADHD, if you are in virtuality, if it helps actually that you are focusing on just what's there, or it's on the other hand too difficult for your senses to because it can be heavy on head.
Yeah. No, it's funny how you mentioned, because I tried an experience recently called Impulse.
Which is about ADHD.
Yeah, exactly. It's about ADHD, no? And I was like, am I going to get distracted watching an experience about ADHD, no? So, and to be honest, like the anxiety part of the ADHD, you know, like the fact that it was mixed reality, I was too worried that I was going to miss something, you know. That was like, is it in physical reality? Is it in virtual reality? Where is it, you know? So do I have to make this? But for me, as a person that like with ADHD, it was too much, you know. But at the same time, for a person to understand how it feels like to be in the mind of someone with ADHD, I thought it was brilliant, you know. So I thought, great, you know, zero-sum game, you know, like compromise, you know. I mean, sometimes are your stories being told for others to understand you as well, right? But for me, with the mind that I have, VR works better because it has my undivided attention, and because it gives me the freedom to look around wherever I want at the moment that I want. Like I become my own director.
So if you compare it with classic film, so is it better or worse?
When it comes to classic film, I always have to watch films like 10 times. Not because I'm not paying attention, but because I pay attention to the wrong thing at the wrong time. Because I pay attention to everything, right? So it may or may not be the moment that I have to pay attention to this or that, right? So it's quite a fun experience, I must say, because like Dory, you know, like I get excited every time I watch a movie like 10 times, you know. So it's but again, going back to the medium, right? I mean, why are we creating the experience in one medium or another? No, like, who are our audiences? You know, like, are we designing for them or not? Are we designing for ourselves? And if so, why? You know, who are the people that we want to transmit the message to? And I think this is the alchemy that is so much fun about VR, because as much as there's so much being done already and the technology is evolving so fast, the sandbox is so big and the alchemy is so interesting, right?
Agree. Yeah. What about the people? Aren't they
We
sleeping?
would need more mics. It would be more diverse and interactive. But anyway, just wanted to add that, for example, for me, I would love to know your experience as well, or your opinion. I'm more into mixed reality, because I saw many people, like, I was trying to onboard a lot of people into virtual reality. And when you can choose if it's a virtual reality or mixed reality experience, it's always better to explain mixed reality, because the person in front of you will put the headset on and he will still see you. So you can interact with the person and explain what is it going to be about. He can tell you, I see everything, and I can see you, and I see my hands, I see my legs, and I can sit, and so on. When you try to explain virtual reality, it's a completely different story. And if it's a person who haven't experienced virtual reality yet, not yet, it's quite challenging to explain it and to give them the proper experience and to onboard them properly. And Ondřej, you can say probably something to it as well with your films, because you saw a lot of people experience it as well. So what you think?
Well, they can get a bit more easy. It's easier for them to get lost, you know, when especially when they are watching it for the first time, or they are not that used on that. So then the onboarding can be tricky. But I think that a lot of people are already more familiar with the medium than when they were 5 years ago. I think it's still like getting better. I'm doing the curation for the many film festivals in Czech Republic where we are showing virtual reality. Every year there's a significant number of people who saw it for the first time, which is still nice, you know. I love, like, the newcomers are always the best. They are the most excited and they love it. But then there's already the number of people who are okay with that. So all these things are like more convenient.
Okay, maybe now is the right moment to ask our audience, do you have any question before we move to another topic? Yes, if you can be loud.
There is one.
Oh, we have mic.
Great. Thank you very much for the discussion. There is one field I don't want to miss out when talking about distribution, which is the language barrier. I work for a film festival here in Czech Republic. I mean, the audience or the French-speaking community, German-speaking community is big. It's maybe easier to finance or to make this a special application or any a language form for many of the VRs or mixed reality projects. But what is your take on the problem with translating the projects mostly to the languages of the countries whose speaking community is little?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And the rule for this is ideally go without the dialogues. That's the best, you know, because anyway, you know, who will listen to you in VR, you know, because you are showing something, you know, and then you're telling the story. Like me personally, I'm trying to go without words now, not only because it's practical, but also because I like it more in general. But yeah, you're right, because then subtitles don't work much in virtual reality, or it's not working basically that much. So then I think it's the same with the short animation, for example. On the field of the short animation, you can see a lot of classic short animated films which are very often without the words, which is done from, I think that the origin of this is that it would that the animators were like, okay, we want to tell the story without the words, like to challenge what the animation can say. And now I think that the same is with XR, because all of these things, because it's like attacking on too many senses. So let's get rid of the like the words, and we'll try to use it this way. The users are, I think that it's still challenged. Not that many users are doing good things which are without any words in XR. But as I'm running the festivals, so especially my colleague who is a co-programmer with me, she's mentioning, but you know, my mom from Slovakia, she will not understand. We need to have at least 5 projects where there are no words so she can understand it and she can enjoy it. So that's also like some curation and decisions which we are taking. And when there is a project with no words, we are always, hey, happy.
I think it pretty much depends on the nature of the project itself as well. Because some of them, I agree with Ondra that they are easier to adapt, let's say, when they don't have words, when it's either like gestures or body language of the characters themselves or the environment changing, for example. But there are some experiences, for example, that I did see with subtitles, and although it's not the best case scenario, that the interesting thing about these experiences is actually being there, being in this space, right? So I encountered sometimes that I was reading the subtitles, but then I kind of had a moment to just feel like I was there, you know, so I didn't have to pay attention to every single element that was happening in real time right in front of my eyes, you know. So there's also this curation process of kind of adapting the accessibility and the language depending on the experience itself. I'm not sure if I kind of answer your question, but for example, when it comes to animation, it's a lot easier to work with body language and gestures. And when it comes to 360 film, then subtitles is the best thing that we have right now. I mean, I have experimented a bit with dubbing using AI, but we are not there yet by a chance. We're not there. I mean, I got curious and I wanted to try it, but we're not there for 2 reasons. First of all, like whatever, everything is wrong about it in my view. And second, that there's also the cultural adaptation of the piece itself. No matter how much you translate something, if it doesn't have the cultural nuance, just sometimes doesn't make any sense. So in a summary, it's like a one case at a time, I would say. Like
always, yeah, you're right. I just wanted to add one little thing that maybe what's also clever is going a little bit back to the silent film like technique, where you have a thing that you see something in a visual and then you have just a black screen with some text, you know, or with audio, which is telling you something. And if you can merge this in a clever way, so then it works pretty nicely, actually. So it's a kind of interesting that's a technique which is very, very old and used by back then because there was no other way how to do it. But I believe that in XR it works also very nicely.
Yeah, so to answer your question, I agree with Ondřej because like the experiences we distribute the best, like and the easier without dialogue. And also like what I think for VR, if you are focused like watching or interacting, you can't listen to. There's too many things to do to pay attention to. So I think if you have a beautiful original soundtrack, good sound design, you can like make an experience really immersive. And I found it like easier to distribute and a better experience. So yeah.
Like maybe another example I can give you, I made a ride for a theme park in VR. Like a theme park that everybody from every single language has to consume it and understand it and enjoy it. And how do you do something like this? And like the actors were so good that we invested more on the acting of the actors, let's say, on really good actors, that you didn't need anything else. I mean, you could have seen just the actor there, you know, making like, whoa, yeah, it was a clown, you know. So sometimes it's just about this, as you said, simplicity, right? I mean, simplicity to say, you can say a lot with body language, you can say a lot with sound, and you can say a lot with just making, like helping the person have this sense of presence.
And that's why the physical theater is also very close to XR, I think, because like the expressions, exaggerated expressions, that's something what kind of works nicely in the medium. And if you play with it, of course, like on purpose, so then it's, yeah, it can work.
Yeah, and maybe that's something we haven't mentioned yet, that the medium itself, when you create a virtual reality experience, you have to think completely different that you are used to in making films or making TV spots or so, because you have to lead the audience to what you want to tell. You have to lead them through the story. So when you want them to look at the right, you have to somehow show them they have to look right, you know. So it's something I'm witnessing in the virtual reality industry, is that there is a lot of people coming into the industry and they say, okay, let's do the virtual reality experience. I can make it because I'm a filmmaker. But then you experience that type of experience and you don't like it because they didn't think the way they should have. And so it's usually at some art festival where you can experience virtual reality films or experiences that are made, for example, by dancers, or I don't know, Ondřej, you will have more examples because you curate the virtual reality content. But then you are watching the experience and asking yourself, what is this about? Because the story is not well set in the virtual reality medium.
It can happen. I think that what can be sometimes the problem, I think it's more about the script actually, that a lot of people are focusing in XR, okay, like which way I'm showing this. They want to play with all the great interesting things, and they are forgetting about the basics, like to tell a good story actually, in any sense, you know. So that's when I see a good VR project with a very good storytelling and the story in general. So then I'm really happy, because that's what we should not forget about. That's the basement, you know.
And that's somehow sometimes it can happen that you will meet persons who will tell you, I don't like virtual reality, because they experience.
Is here
like
somebody
that.
who really don't like it?
Yeah.
You would probably not sit here for 2 hours, but you know.
Have you
there's somebody,
experienced
if there's anybody, it would be good, you know. I want to know. No? Okay.
Okay, maybe another question from the audience. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, thank you for this discussion. It's very interesting, and I'm a student from FAMU, and I studied directing, and I have to say that it's a pity that we don't get exposed to VR and its technology that often in our daily classes. So, but I'm really interested, and I'm wondering, like, do you have any advices for more like traditional filmmakers who are interested in blending VR technologies in their production? And are there any resources available in Prague or in Czech Republic for more like beginners and creators who want to try this out? Yeah.
I can answer maybe. It's pity that FAMU is not focusing on that much. I believe that there were some like courses which were focused on VR. But not long, and maybe they were in the past. They don't have it any longer, probably. I know that the gaming department there is trying to step into this field as well a little bit, but they are more focusing on the classic games. But what is the best, I believe, is somehow to get a connection to the Umělecko-průmyslové museum, like the I don't know how it's in English, but basically Umprum, because they are having the new media departments, and if something is done by students in Czech Republic, so it's usually from there. So that's like a good start, and maybe there is some, because FAMU used to have some connections with Umprum, so maybe there it's a good beginning, you know, to discover the medium, and yeah, and then the gaming department of FAMU definitely as well.
I'm not from here, but I can give you a general a general thing that worked for us at least, no? Because with this Sherlock experience that we actually created for like consumers, no? It was a B2C experience that you could find it in the store. Like we were approached by a school telling us, hey, we checked out your experience and we would really love to see if we can use it for our English classes. You know, because it was a Sherlock and I see English and they said, okay, how can we make it happen? No, thinking about again about distribution and how to create content that can actually teach about VR or XR in schools. No, so together with them, we actually created a physical suitcase, let's say, with 4 headsets with the experiences there, and then they created a program that an educational program, but that was designed taking the content into consideration as well. So it was like a bit a symbiosis, no? So what I'm trying to say is that, for example, if you see an experience that you like, or you are a person that designs an experience, and don't be afraid to reach out, and think outside the headset, think outside the box, and kind of make a product out of it. No? And work together in the program for schools, together with creators, you know, like for example, I don't know, when I saw Darkening, you know, like I imagine like, I would love my therapist to recommend me watch something like this, you know? So I'm like, you know, I rather sit and watch something like this than going there like, oh, touch the grass, you know? It's like, you know?
But so, it's great to touch the grass, isn't it?
Yeah, but not every single time, no? I mean, like, it's nice to touch the grass once a month, you know? But anyway, I mean, there's a lot of creativity as well in joining forces with seemingly like, you know, unconnected professionals.
I don't know if you are going to FAMU International or to like a FAMU main national program, how to call it, but I would try to crack it. You know, you can do because you are having the short films that you are about to create. I would come to the teacher and say, hey, I want to make it in VR. I doubt that they would be that, because, you know, if you want to do that, it's I don't see the reason why they should force you back. Maybe they would say, okay, this is too different. You know, you would not learn what you need to learn in a classic film. But, you know, if it's not the first exercise already, so I think that you can definitely try to experiment with that.
Yeah, and if they deny you, you can definitely contact the creators in the field or the companies who are working with virtual reality, that you can, for example, help them to get the experience with the industry, not at the school, or join the community.
Yeah, thank you so much. If I can just have a follow-up question?
Yeah, sure.
I think for students, like especially for traditional directing students, it's not like the school really denies you for this. It's that we are completely ignorant of what kind of technologies that we can use and how does it affect like the pre-production and production stage. So if you can share a bit about like pre-production and production and how is it differs from traditional filmmaking.
Yeah, I think that we have like 2 minutes, what I'm seeing now, and that's not a question for 2 minutes, unfortunately. But yeah, maybe get in touch with us and we can talk about it, because some of the phases of the pre-production and the actual production are not that different. If you're creating 360 film, for example, I would stick with that for your case, because that's the closest in a way to the filmmaking, let's say, and there it's just in terms of using of the camera, it's very, very different, because it's like the cameraman is working mostly just with one camera with just a natural lighting, or artificial lighting which must be done in a very specific way so that it's not seen. So that's why usually it's not used that much, you know. And all the pre-production is basically the same. You're working on the story, you know, so you are trying to find the locations and things like these. So that can be very, very similar. The post-production, it's different. You need to really be able to have somebody to have an editor who is able to create it in a good way. That can be challenging. I believe that the DOP can kind of play around nicely on the set and to discover what the medium, what the cameras can do. For the actual post-production, it's better to have somebody who has some experiences with that. Otherwise, you will lose a lot of time and energy. But it's not impossible, of course.
Yeah, I think I hope we will stay after the panel discussion. So if you have any other questions, just reach out to you. And I have to say thank you for joining us. Or I see another question. I'm not sure if we can...
maybe if we can have one last question.
Okay.
And then we will wrap up. Thank you.
Yes, sorry, because I wanted to react before what you were saying. I also studied FAMU, but newly I am within the Center for Workspace Research, and we are trying to establishing VR lab that should be for students across universities, and it should start in September. So what we wanted to also do, to also invite other students from different places that want to just try or develop their projects to come and to be able to work there. So it's
nice. So
I felt
we have a collaboration.
That's a good idea to say it, because nobody knows about it so far. So now we are trying to connect with universities and places, because the basic idea is for researchers or students to come and to implement it into their research, but also it could be artistic work or research. So there is the space, but so far it's not really PR or it's not really known. So I felt later we can discuss it, maybe after, yeah.
Thank you very much. Would love to know more about it as well. So let's talk about it later. And if you don't have anything to add, I would love to thank you all for coming, and thank you our speakers, Gab Stanley, Sara Fatucci, and Ondřej Moravec. Děkujeme. Thank you.
Thank you.